Ethan Cross never liked surprises. His life was built on clean lines, tight schedules, and everything in its right place. At 40, he was one of the top architects in the city. Sharp suit, fast car, no time for anything that didn't serve a purpose. His sister Emily often said he lived more like a machine than a man. So when she convinced him to go on a simple coffee date with a friend of hers, he almost didn't show up. But Emily could be persistent, and he was tired of disappointing her. That's how he ended up at a quiet cafe on a Tuesday afternoon, checking his watch as the smell of roasted coffee filled the air. He wasn't expecting much. Maybe a polite conversation, maybe another reminder of why he didn't bother with dating. But when the door opened and a woman stepped in, he knew this wouldn't be a usual afternoon. She was soft-spoken, dressed simply, with gentle eyes that looked like they carried too many stories. She smiled when she saw him and walked over, her hands folded nervously in front of her. "You're Ethan Cross," she said quietly. "Yes," he replied, standing up out of habit. "And you must be—" She shook her head before he could finish. "I'm not here for a date," she said almost apologetically. "I'm here to say thank you," Ethan blinked. "Thank you?" Her voice trembled a little, but her eyes didn't waver. "Years ago, you designed a reading space for kids in a shelter on East River Street. I used to go there. I was 16, homeless in that place. It meant everything to me." He stared at her, trying to remember. The project had been one of his earliest designs. A small volunteer job before his career took off. He hadn't thought about it in years. "You were there?" he asked softly. "I practically lived there," she said with a faint smile. "It was the only place that felt safe. I'd sit by the window and draw for hours. That space made me believe that maybe my life could be something more, so I just wanted to thank you for that." Ethan didn't know what to say. People praised his work all the time, but never like this. Not for something that had actually touched someone's life. He nodded, still unsure how to react. "You didn't have to do this," he said quietly. She smiled again, this time smaller, more fragile. "I did," she said, "because I might not have another chance." Her words caught him off guard. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, looking down at her hands. "I have a heart condition. It's getting worse. The doctors say I should prepare for the possibility that I won't have much time." The air in the cafe seemed to thicken. Ethan stared at her, stunned by her calmness. She looked too young, too full of quiet life to be talking about dying. "I'm sorry," he said softly. She nodded, as if she had already learned to accept people's sympathy. "It's all right. I've made peace with it. I just wanted to thank the person who unknowingly gave me a reason to hope once. That's all." They sat there for a while in silence. Ethan felt something stir inside him, something he couldn't quite name. He found himself asking about her life, her son, her art. She spoke with gentle warmth about her 5-year-old boy Noah, who loved dinosaurs and refused to eat anything green. The way she talked about him made Ethan smile without meaning to. When they finally stood to leave, she said, "I didn't mean to take your time." He shook his head. It wasn't wasted. Then, almost without thinking, he added, "Can I see you again?" She looked surprised, but there was a softness in her expression. "You don't have to," she said. "I know," he replied. "But I want to." That was the beginning of something Ethan didn't plan for. He started visiting her small apartment every few days, helping with little things, fixing a broken chair, changing a light bulb, bringing dinner when she was too tired to cook. He told himself he was just being kind, but soon he found himself staying longer each time. He'd sit on the floor with Noah, building towers out of blocks, listening to Lily's soft laugh as she watched them. Her health began to decline faster than she let on. Some days she was too weak to get out of bed. Ethan noticed the pills lined up on the counter, the hospital papers folded neatly under a magnet on the fridge. One evening, when she tried to stand and nearly fell, he caught her just in time. "You need to rest," he said gently. She smiled faintly. "I don't like being treated like I'm fragile." Then don't make me worry, he said, his voice cracking in a way that surprised them both. She looked at him then, really looked at him. Why do you care so much? He didn't have an answer. Maybe because for the first time in years he felt something real. Not ambition, not success, but connection. After that night, he couldn't stand the thought of losing her. He spent long hours researching hospitals and treatments, calling every specialist he could find. When he came across a new heart procedure in Switzerland, he didn't think twice. He made the arrangements himself. When he told Lily, she was too stunned to speak. "Ethan, you can't." "I already did," he said quietly. "You said you didn't have much time." "Let's change that," she cried then. Not the kind of tears that came from sadness, but from being seen. The months that followed were hard. Hospitals, flights, sleepless nights. He stayed through it all, holding her hand during every procedure, keeping Noah busy with bedtime stories and little adventures. Slowly, against all odds, Lily began to recover. Her color returned. Her smile grew stronger. The doctors called it remarkable. Ethan called it a miracle. When they came back home, everything felt different. Ethan found himself spending every evening with them, cooking dinner, helping Noah with schoolwork, walking with Lily along the quiet street outside her building. It felt natural, easy, like something he had been missing all his life. One day, while they were sitting on the couch watching Noah build a Lego castle, Lily said softly, "You changed everything." He smiled. "So did you." By the time Noah's 6th birthday arrived, the apartment was filled with balloons, laughter, and the smell of chocolate cake. Lily looked radiant, dressed in a light blue dress, her hair tied back with a ribbon Noah had picked. Ethan had planned everything down to the smallest detail, but there was one thing left he hadn't told her. When the guests gathered and the candles were blown out, Ethan knelt beside Lily, his heart pounding. He pulled a small box from his pocket and opened it. "Lily," he said quietly, "I know you didn't come into my life looking for love. You just wanted to say thank you. But you gave me something I didn't even know I needed, a family. You and Noah are my home. So I have to ask, will you let me stay?" For a moment she just stared at him, tears shining in her eyes. Then she nodded, whispering, "Yes." Noah cheered so loudly that everyone laughed. He hugged them both and said proudly, "Now we can all be together forever." That was the day Ethan realized love doesn't always arrive with fireworks. It sometimes walks in quietly, holding gratitude in its hands. Months later, Ethan left his high-paying job and moved with Lily and Noah to a small coastal town 2 hours away. He opened a tiny art and design studio where people could paint, build, and dream freely. Lily became an art teacher at the local school. She loved it. The laughter of children, the smell of paint, the joy of creation. Their new life was simple but full. Mornings began with pancakes and Noah's chatter. Evenings ended with quiet walks on the beach, watching the sunset turn the sky into gold. One evening, as they sat on the porch, Lily resting her head on Ethan's shoulder, Noah chasing fireflies in the yard, she whispered, "Do you ever think about that cafe?" Ethan smiled. Every day she took his hand. "Funny how a thank you changed everything." He squeezed her hand gently. "It didn't just change things, Lily. It gave me a life worth living." The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the world in soft orange light. In that moment there was no past or future, just the quiet peace of being together, alive and loved. And somewhere deep down, Ethan knew that what began as a simple thank you had become the story of his heart, the one he never saw coming but would never stop being grateful for.